Hello, this is Silvia Pavoni, investments editor of the Bank, and I'm talking to Luis Patricio Garrett Mendieta, Gerente Nacional de Productos y Relaciones Internacionales for BNP of Bolivia, and also to Pablo Bedoya Saenz, who is the general manager, again, for the same bank. Luis, we were talking about the banking system in Bolivia and how it is strongly dominated by local players. I was wondering whether you could talk about your plans in terms of gaining local market share and what products are going to be of most interest to the bank.
Sure. The Bolivian banking system has been growing steadily for the last 9 or 10 years. Now we are planning in Bolivia to increase the number of commercial spots, commercial offices all around the country. We're working primarily with the large companies, and a few years ago we started with a very good business that is the small and the medium enterprise segment. And we're doing very good, and we are planning to expand our operations in that segments of the market. We also invested in a new company in Peru, in Lima, Peru. It's a stock market house or a brokerage house. And we're planning to expand with our financial doing in the south part of Peru in the next 2 or 3 years. Those are our plans of expansion. And we also have a very good relationship with all our correspondent banks. The foreign trade financing is one thing that is very important for us. And now in Felaban we're going to work with that matter too.
And Pablo, Luis mentioned the export finance, and Bolivia clearly, as for the rest of Latin America, is a strong exporter of commodities. What other sectors that you think your bank is going to get more involved in, business sectors, in the next year, and why? And how do you think that the bank can, what kind of products do you think the bank can help those clients with?
Well, first of all, we are trying to work very hard to give the best attention to our clients. We are trying to work very hard. We are now open a lot of new offices around all over Bolivia, like in small cities and small towns, and now we are trying to develop that. As Patricio mentioned, we are working already with a small medium business, and we are studying a lot in order to enter to the microfinance products in order to work a lot in the bancarization for Bolivia. So now we are trying to open a lot of new agencies in the small cities and towns in Bolivia, and as we mentioned around, we are trying to get a little bit bigger in the new segment of the market that we get in Peru. In Peru, we are looking some new opportunities in order to try to expand, and maybe to try to look another neighbor, another country with us, in order to see what opportunities we can have and what kind of service we can give to our clients that they work in both countries.
You mentioned microfinance, and clearly microfinance is an area of expertise in Bolivia, and something that definitely Bolivia can export in the region, and perhaps even outside of the region. And also microfinance seemed to be the theme of last year's Felaban, while the year before people were talking about trade finance. I was wondering whether, although these are still very much early days, and you probably haven't spoken to so many people, but have you defined the trend that most bankers are interested from this year's Felaban?
Well, I think microfinance is the thing to do now, in Latin America at least. But we have to consider also the small and medium enterprises that are growing very fast, and there are many in our countries. I think one thing we have to do in the future is try to formalize the informal enterprises, convert them to formal enterprises, and then the banks can work more and better with these types of companies. Microfinance is a volume business. It requires a lot of assets as a bank, a lot of people working in that. It's an expensive type of business, but it's needed in Latin America. We as a bank, as I told you, are going to make efforts more in the small and medium enterprises, and then we can look forward to work with the microfinance. But I think it's the microcredits are going to be the future in Latin America soon. Bolivia is a country that exported the technology. Still, it is a very good, the banks are very good doing microfinance. Probably will not be involved in the short run in that business, but in a few years probably will have to buy some company in that matter.
Thank you both for your comments.
Thank you, Silvia.